It's very funny that 10-12 years ago, we used to have a monthly planning of groceries, which then became a 3 to 4 day kind of a delivery cycle once Amazon came in. Now it's Amazon came up with a 1 day delivery. Now it's Q-commerce with a 10-15 minute deliveries. I think, and we have adapted to all of those things. While nothing was required, it wasn't a customer need, but we have adopted it to a way that it's very difficult to reverse it now. At 0 to 1, you just require a product which solves a customer problem. Typically in a 0 to 1 journey, the biggest mistake I've seen founders do is that they over-optimize on technology and data. Scalability and repeatability are the most important characters at this point of time. Your brand needs to start building at this stage. While sales was your primary focus in 0 to 1, brand building starts to take the first priority in 1 to 10 phase. What saves you is a strong brand. And when I talk about brand, I talk about the visual identity it carries, the tonality it carries, the messaging that it has, what is the sharp set of cohorts that it focuses on, and what's the consistency across different mediums and channels at which the brand is branded. Whenever we analyze any D2C brand, we do it from the future of next 5 years perspective. We don't look at it just for today, we look at it 5 years hence. This framework is called Delta 4 framework, where he says that if your product is at least 4 notches better than your current solution, then the kind of referrals, the kind of word of mouth, the kind of organic reach that you'll create from your product will be unparalleled.
Hi, welcome everybody on to our next session on CXO Speak. India is becoming a bigger and bigger consumer market, and the behavior of consumer is changing significantly from a market which was primarily consuming a lot of the base product and then the imported product to a market which is opening up to more Indian products and actually trying to build products which are premium, homegrown and premium products. D2C for us is something which is a booming industry. A lot of businesses are trying to enter, and a lot of consumers are willing to consume new products coming into Indian markets. We have with us today Saurabh, who's an expert specifically working towards a growth strategy for D2C businesses. Saurabh has spent more than 15 years of his time building consumer businesses, D2C brands, helping build the base of a lot of those brands from 0 to 1, and has been part of 1 to 10 and 10 to 100 scales journey. Let's get started and discuss how growth strategy could be of help to the founders, the businesses, and how can people like Saurabh be of help in scaling, building and then scaling the businesses in D2C. So let's start talking with Saurabh about his journey around D2C and what kind of work he has done. First, let's just very quickly touch upon, Saurabh, the growth strategy, which is something that has become the core of any D2C brand that is intending to get started in India. What is it all about? How do you look at it? And then we'll get into the details about it.
Sure. Thanks for having me, Arun. Like you rightly pointed out, that there are generally 2 phases of growth. One is called a 0 to 1 journey. One is called a 1 to 10 journey. So founders typically have different kind of roles to play in these 2 journeys. 0 to 1 is more about competitive research, market research, talking to a lot of users in the market, doing legal compliances for your organization, setting up supply chains, getting some sample inventory in, all sorts of things, getting networked with people who can collaborate with you for the long term. And this journey, I would say, has a lot of friction points. The turnaround time can be as high as months, because people might reply to you very late. They might not even reply. The inventory might get stuck somewhere. A lot of time, patience, and perseverance is required by the founders in this phase. The second phase is the 1 to 10 journey, where the role of the founder is slightly different. Now the product has found a product market fit. The founder now needs to scale that up. There is a requirement of thorough marketing. There is a requirement of raising funds. There is a requirement of having set processes, SOPs in the organization so that you can scale up faster. And that's how the role differs between these two phases. So 0 to 1 is more of an experimentation. 1 to 10 is more of scalability and repeatability.
Which effectively means 0 to 1 for you is where the foundation is being set up, wherein you are making sure that the product that you are going to be scaling is a right fit. There is a consumer and he is willing to pay for it.
Absolutely.
So what do you think is required for a right set of a right D2C brand to be able to sustain itself? What are the key things to be done from a 0 to 1 journey? In your experiences, what kind of experiences that you have had in 0 to 1 journey?
Sure. So as I said, scrappy experimentation is the one word that I can describe for a 0 to 1 journey. The founders who have a good knack of CAC versus LTV, which is the customer acquisition cost versus the lifetime value of the customer, they need to have that discipline around it. So if your product price is about equal to the cost of goods sold plus the customer acquisition cost, you're not making any margins. Your price has to be at least twice of that value. So that sort of pricing discipline in the market, making sure your costs are not ballooning, not bloating because of the bidding that you are doing on the social media platforms, etc. And the lifetime value, which means the cross sell, upsell that you keep doing to the client and making sure that the client is buying from you again and again. The repetition loop, that's very, very important. So one is that. The second is having a very strong operations backbone, which is having documented standard operating procedures for whatever you do. That's the core of it. Having basic systems in place. It could be tech systems, it could be manual systems, but having basic systems in place. That's the operations backbone that we are talking about here. The third is having a very consistent brand positioning. So your brand should not be talking one message on social media platform and the other message on the emailers that you are sending out. So it has to be a very consistent brand messaging. So these three are to the very, very core of a founder who knows the difference between 0 to 1 and 1 to 10.
And what about 1 to 10, which means that you've been able to establish that the product is a right fit. You are able to make sure that the unit economics are working fine.
Right.
And that's where you start scaling it.
That's right.
What are the key things that you start looking at once? And frankly, before that, what is the right way to know that you've hit 0 to 1 and you need to step up the pedal, which effectively means growing from 1 to 10, which is the way you want to scale, or what's the right time for you to start scaling?
Right. So essentially, one or two questions that you need to answer for yourself: that the product is loved by the customers, they're asking for it again, and they're willing to pay a price that you want from the market to pay. Okay. So these are largely what the benchmark is to establish a product market fit. If there is a repeatability to your product, you have hit the product market fit at that stage. I'll give you a few examples. So I was working with a edtech company in they were selling music courses for guitar, piano, all of that. So we were giving those courses for a trial basis for 7, 8, 10 days, absolutely free of cost. Customers were lapping it up, and hence we got to know that there is a demand for such products in the market, but the pricing was unknown. So what we did next was, in order to see what the pricing conversions were, we put up some experimental pricing. Basis some models that we had internally, saw competitive pricing as well, and put up some pricing. There we got to know that there is a sweet spot at which your conversions are the highest. So once we got to know that, now the pricing was fixed, product market fit was there. We said that let's have a small telecalling center in place to convert all the abandoned cards. Let's have a strong social media presence. Let's create solid content around it, which educates the customer about these courses, and hence we built it up from there. This was for a medium to small size startup. I'll talk about a real estate player also, very big operations. Yes. there are two sides to a real estate transaction. One is a sales transaction, one is a rental
The rental
transaction.
one. Yeah.
The sales transaction was doing pretty good. The monetization was good. We were able to charge a premium, but the rental side was underpriced.
Okay.
Once we found out that there is a sweet spot at which the real estate brokers are willing to pay for leads which are in the rental segment, we doubled down on it. We created an entire category around it. We hired a leader. We hired feet on street. We create separate packages. We created separate pricing, and we launched the entire vertical, which was equivalent to the sales vertical that we had.
Got you.
So these two things that come to my mind.
So you are saying that this is the time when the founder or the core team needs to be on the ground, keep a very sound vigil on what exactly is working, what is not working, and accordingly build it up.
Absolutely. Iteration, feedback, all of this is very, very essential in these phases. The founder, the team closest to the founder, the CXO's team, most 50-60% of their bandwidth in this phase has to be on the field.
And as an expert of a growth strategy, where do you come in this kind of a story, specifically where the founders are working on building the product and making sure that it's a perfect fit? Where does you as an expert come into play?
Yes. So expertise lies both on the 0 to 1 side as well as on the 1 to 10 side.
Yeah.
We help founders not let themselves to spread too thin. We make sure that they have a good founders office in place. They have systems and processes. They have necessary dashboards in place.
Sure.
They have the right set of hires under them so that they can take a brunt of the work as well.
Got it.
We help them create templatized websites. We help them create minimum viable products very fast and experiment very fast.
Got it.
So that's what we can do.
Which means that if I am an expert in building a product, but I do not understand too much about the jargons which work around, in the marketing part of it, there is somebody who can actually come in, help me through the journey, wherein I can say that, okay, see, I am able to prove that the business or the product is a fit. You need it, and I can actually relate to it. At Zotter, we've been talking to businesses who are doing decently good on the manufacturing side as an OEM of the bigger brands. And at the same point in time, people who've been doing a lot of export, but because of one problem or the other, are trying to see if they can actually sell the same product here in Indian market.
Sure. Yes.
And most of these guys are saying that, see, I understand the product pretty well. The costing is not a challenge, but I do not know who's my right customer. I don't know whether it sells in here or not. And probably this is where this 0 to 1 journey, fits in pretty well, wherein you are not spending a lot, but at the same point in time, making sure that you are making right sort of decisions and know where you're going before you actually hit the pedal up.
Yes. So 0 to 1 journey reduces that friction, the initial friction of jumping into the market.
Yeah.
We reduce that entirely because we are the ones who are executing it on behalf of the founder. We are going, so for our top priority is speed to the market. Let's experiment fast. Let's go to the market fast. If we have to fail, let's fail fast.
Yes.
Let's move to the next experiment faster. So that's what we do in 0 to 1. 0 to 1 is more about sales and less about very complicated tech and people processes. Yes.
Got you. As we, once the 0 to 1 story is done, as you rightly said, we've understood that, product is finding a buyer, people are willing to pay for it. You move from 1 to 10.
Yes.
What is it that becomes more important at this time?
Scalability and repeatability are the most important characters at this point of time. Your brand needs to start building at this stage. While sales was your primary focus in 0 to 1, brand building starts to take the first priority in 1 to 10 phase. You create a very consistent brand story. You create consistent messaging across the brand. You identify your paying cohort. You identify the messaging that you do for them. You identify the micro regions where you can sell the most. So while the startups in the 0 to 1 ecosystem or maybe 1 to 10 ecosystem focus a lot on very specific cohorts of people, the larger organizations which generate a lot of database, a lot of data personalization is possible for them. They rely heavily on these datas, various cuts on them to create large level strategies on them. So let me take an example of Zomato. So for example, Zomato has plethora of data of all the demand and supply that happens at a very hyper local level, which is mapped to a sector or a small suburb level as well. The restaurants can take a cue by looking at what are their menu open rates on Zomato, how many people are going from menu to making a cart out of it. That goes to show that what is the pricing, is the pricing suited for that particular locality or not. Once the cart is made, the final payments have been done or not, uh, we can it goes to show that the customer is doing a lot of comparisons of similar dishes with some other restaurants as well. So a lot of data is created from sites like that, which can be fed into a lot of different restaurants. They can look at that data and optimize their strategy basis the data generated by Zomato and Swiggy kind of platforms.
Right.
We were working with a real estate tech platform as well, again generating plethora of data, and through that we also realized that the kind of user base who was coming to search for a property in Ahmedabad and who is coming to search for a property in Mumbai is so vastly different in terms of the property prices that a broker or the developer earning commissions from that particular properties is vastly different, and hence the package price for Ahmedabad cannot be similar to a Bombay location. So we took a cue from that database. We changed the property pricing. We were under monetizing a lot of segments in that, and hence we got a good fillip in terms of revenue. So just my limited point that while we look at smaller cohorts for startups, we can look at a variety of cuts of data for larger organizations to come up with a very, very personalized strategy.
Oh yes, we at Zotter as well, we have an expert who works specifically on this area, which is about using the unstructured or structured data to create stories and insights out of it, and that insight is at times is eye opening. People, and any decision that you're making basis that data is something which will help big time.
Absolutely, yes.
Saurabh, this 0 to 1 and 1 to 10 wala journey seems to be a decent topic or a decent way to bifurcate the whole discussion of ours. So let's dwell into that more in detail, and there are multiple areas that I can actually touch and cover, bifurcating this exercise between 0 to 1, 1 to 10, and probably 10 to 100 at a later stage. And amongst all, I guess technology is one which becomes very important, specifically with the advent of AI and the way there are new tools which are coming up, having a significant impact on the way content is being created, the content is being consumed, and hence there'll be a direct impact on the way the marketing or the growth strategy works around it, right? For example, rather than Google, probably you'll be talking about how ChatGPT can help me sell my product at some point in time. So how do you look at that when you are building a product, which is effectively a 0 to 1 journey? What is it in technology which is required? A lot of people at Zotter come in and say that, I need somebody to be able to help me. What are the right set of tools that I need when I'm starting to build the product? And there is always that question, do you really need it today? What is your opinion on the usage of technology during this journey of 0 to 1?
Right. So, Arun, typically in a 0 to 1 journey, the biggest mistake I've seen founders do is that they over optimize on technology and people. The first discussion anyone would have, even before starting a business, should I build a website? Should I build an app? What should be the CRM system? That's not the discussion to be had at a 0 to 1 stage. At 0 to 1, you just require a product which solves a customer problem, and you have validated that in the market. You just require a system which sees what is the traction of that product, which measures the traction of that product. It could be a Google spreadsheet also. These two things are essentially what is required in the 0 to 1 stage. Rest everything that you will build in 0 to 1 will be subject to a lot of rework going forward, because typically whatever product service that you start a startup with, you end up not doing that. So that's
at least not doing the way you had imagined.
Absolutely. You always pivot, you always do something different, because from the user research you'll get certain examples that this is not the right fit for you. So you keep tweaking, you keep iterating, you keep gathering feedback, and you finally do something which is very different, which looks very different from the thing that you had envisioned for. At this stage, my advice to the founders is that they should be a generalist at this stage. They should keep their hands at the product side as well,
Yeah.
the tech side as well, basic tech side, communication, marketing, supply chain, all of that. Customer feedback, user research, all of that. So the founder has to be deeply entrenched in these processes rather than over optimizing on technology and people. You build just the proprietary softwares and solutions that are required for your core business. So in today's day and age, when a lot of technology folks are hired in the system, there is an increasing tendency that we'll build everything from scratch. Be it a marketing automation tool, be it a lead generation tool, be it a logistics tracking tool. But essentially there is no need. Everything is available in a plug and play form in the market, and you can simply buy it. The quality of that product which is there in the market will be much better than you will be able to build in an year also. You just build a very proprietary software which is core to your business. So we were working with an auto technology company. It's into used two-wheelers and four-wheelers. So there we were building vehicle inspection tool, vehicle history tool, vehicle pricing tool, which is more proprietary for the business, and hence makes a lot of sense to build that. But rest of the other things are outsourced. So that's what it is in the 0 to 1 journey.
Got you. And that's pretty interesting because even this proprietary tool in itself changes with the times. So for example, somebody trying to do, and amongst our portfolio company there is one auto business trying to do the same thing, was able to capture a lot of this work being done by somebody who has already done that in the same industry. So even what is proprietary to your business changes significantly depending upon how many people are already there.
Sure.
And what about 1 to 10?
Yes. So the experimentation phase that we talked about, the 0 to 1 journey, the things that happened there won't work in the 1 to 10 journey. The founder can't spread themselves too thin in that particular journey. They need to hire, they need to have a depth in their hiring, depth in their leadership to delegate a lot of tasks so that they focus more on the vision, the expansion, the broad market strategies that product will eventually get in the market. You need some CRM solutions. You can't have manual tracking tools at that point of time because now you don't have 1 or 10 orders. Now you have 1,000 orders to track, right? So CRM system is the one that you will require. For contact center automation, chatbots, all of that would be required because customer complaints would also start rising in proportion to your orders volume, right? AI-based tools, like you rightly pointed out, content, AR/VR solutions, demand forecasting, all of this can now be sorted through AI in a much more cost-effective manner and much more faster manner.
Got you.
So these are some of the tools that can be used in the 1 to 10 journey, which were not really necessary in the 0 to 1 journey.
Right, but at the same point in time, probably during the 0 to 1 journey, as a growth strategy specialist, you would be looking at some of them and making sure that you have a right set of list of potential technologies that are going to be used, and hence your plan includes the usage of some of those technologies.
Absolutely. So having a Shopify-based templatized website is one of that. We don't need a customized website. We just need a Shopify-based website to test our products. Once we attain a big scale and we know that we are in it for the long term and this is the final product we are talking about, then we can make as many customizations as possible on top of that. So this is just one example. WhatsApp chat widgets is something that is very, very easily deployable. Yes, for marketing tools, emailers, performance marketing tools, etc. Very, very easy to incorporate. So all of that is part of our initial set of tech tools that we deploy with various clients.
Got it. And the next thing, which apart from technology, the next thing which is very core to a D2C business is the brand. If there are certain set of examples that you would want to share with the audience, wherein during this journey, using the very base technology, the founder can make sure that he's on top of everything and is not really burning hole in his pocket. Any example that you would like to share?
We worked with a food delivery and dine-in restaurant company. So they are big in the NCR region. there the founder was spreading himself too thin by fighting a lot of fires every day,
Yeah.
which usually happens,
Which
typically
usually
happens,
happens,
because founders mentality is that we should not delegate a lot of stuff, everything should go under my hand. What we did for them was we created a complete founders office for them, which included dashboards, processes. We created review mechanisms, monthly review mechanisms for them. We created a very robust project management pipeline for them, so that founders' bandwidth is freed for more expansion plans, more store openings, more strategic collaborations that he can have in the market. So that's one example, that very basic tools, very basic dashboards can help you achieve all of that.
Got it. So you do not really need to spend too much on technology, with more and more opportunity than options available with you. Perfect. There is one thing which is very close to the heart of any D2C founder, uh, which at times is the core of any business, for that matter, any business which is working with a direct consumer, which is the brand.
Yeah.
And there is always this question that at what level should you start spending money on brand, or what is the right way for you to make sure that you are able to build a sensible, scalable brand, and where does a growth strategy help, a growth strategist help in the whole journey.
Yeah.
And again, the way we have done it in our previous conversation, let's just split again this into a 0 to 1 and 1 to 10 journey. 10 to 100 is something which obviously gets followed by 1 to 10.
That's it.
How do you look at brand, its importance, and the things that one should keep in mind when he's starting up?
Sure.
From on a 0 to 1 journey, what do you think is the importance of working on the brand?
Right.
And where does growth strategists like you come in to the discussion about what kind of brand should it be?
Sure.
How should it look to customer? What should be the right pull? So what's your
Right.
view around that?
So once you are in the experimental phase, I think a lot of emphasis has to be put on the sales side of things, like we discussed. Branding can be done later once you are shifting from an experimental phase to a scale up phase. At that point of time, you'll have your product market fit ready, you'll have the user base ready, you'll have your pricing sorted out, you'll have your revenue lines coming in.
Yeah.
That is the area, that is the point where a lot of competition starts taking notice of what you are doing.
Yeah.
And in this AI age, it is increasingly easy to do a thorough market research,
Yeah.
to create, at least at a conceptual level, what should be the business plan, what should be the execution levers, what should be the one notch better strategy that one can deploy to beat this particular brand.
Exactly.
At that point of time, what saves you is a strong brand. And when I talk about brand, I talk about the visual identity it carries, the tonality it carries, the messaging that it has, what is the sharp set of cohorts that it focuses on, and what's the consistency across different mediums and channels at which the brand is present.
Got it.
So these 5-6 things is what for me defines a brand. That reminds me, I'll give you some interesting examples of what happened in the past.
Yeah.
So I was working with this edtech music company that we discussed in the
about,
past
yeah.
as well. Yes. For us, the end customer for us was a student or a hobbyist who wanted to learn music.
Right.
But when we deep dive, when we did a lot of calling on who is actually buying our products, we got to know that a lot of teachers are buying the product. Not the students, not the hobbyists, a lot of teachers who in turn teach the students on music, they are buying our product. And they are buying it primarily to understand what our curriculum structure is. Because our curriculum is very, very structured.
Got you.
So what we said was, let's change our messaging. Let's change, since our cohort has changed, it has become teachers.
Right.
The messaging has to be changed towards appealing to that teacher cohort.
segment of
So we changed our branding accordingly.
Got you.
So that's one example. We were working with a gemstone based client based in Jaipur.
Okay.
Here, the client was selling, the brand was selling the products that it was a jewelry brand, a lifestyle brand. While when you deep dive, when you talk to the users, the kind of selling that should happen in this kind of a brand has to be astrology led.
Yes.
So people give their requirements, they have some problem in life which they would want to solve, they give their details, they get to know what is the exact gemstone that can help me.
Right.
And finally, a certified gemstone which is very genuine needs to be bought from the market, and that's what the entire user journey is.
Right.
We worked with the client to create the entire brand strategy in a way that it became astrology led rather than a lifestyle jewelry brand
Got you.
strategy. So that
Got you.
was the second one.
Right. I'll give you one example, and let's just try to tie that up with what you just thought,
Yes.
what you just said. So, at Auto, we are working with a few businesses who are doing extremely good
Mhm.
on one part of which is primarily sourcing and delivery side of the business.
Yeah.
Have not really reached the consumer, right? Which means that they know that there is a need of this particular product. Probably the brand is something which is important, and hence they themselves are not able to do it. Now, in this particular case, when you move them, when you help them from 0 to 1, how important does it become for you to say that, okay, what are the basic things that you need to keep in mind when you are starting out, right? Because you cannot just say that, okay, let's just go out in the market. You need to have your name there, you need to have your brand published in there, you need to make sure that all of the color scheme that you're using is right.
Yes.
The story, the messaging.
Yes.
And most of this is on the day 0 when he's starting out.
Hmm.
How will this differ from an experimentation model? There can be an experimentation model wherein the product is not there, and hence I do not need to spend too much of time. But if I'm talking about a product which is there in the market,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to do some changes in there and trying to sell or trying to sell that in the market, how important does brand become in that case on the day 1?
Got that. So good example that comes to my mind is a premium bag manufacturer that we were working with.
Yeah.
The manufacturer is largely working with OEMs and ODMs
Yeah.
on fulfilling their supply.
Right.
But the owner wanted something of his own in terms of a brand also to sell directly to the customers.
Right.
So one way was that let's sell bag as a product in the market, which is not differentiated because there are thousands other brands of bags in the market. What we did was we picked up a persona. We said that let's target this persona. So the persona is a corporate guy who could be an entrepreneur, who could be a salaried employee.
Right.
This person is very aspirational in nature. So he does very well at his office, at his business. He's very, very health conscious. He goes to gym every weekend. He's a travel enthusiast as well. Every weekend he'll move out. He'll go to travel to have different exposures and experiences. And hence we catered this brand to this particular persona, making it very aspirational for this guy.
Yeah.
That this is just not a bag. It's your travel accessory, is your gymming accessory, is your office accessory.
Right.
And this will be with you all throughout your times and will help you achieve your goals that you have desired to achieve.
Got you.
So that's the kind of messaging that we created for a very cluttered and very, very undifferentiated kind of a space.
Got you. Which effectively means that probably what or when the brand is required is highly dependent upon what kind of product you are working on.
Yeah.
And how are you trying to reach out. If the end consumer is known, then probably this is something that you might as well be working on from the very first day as well.
Yes, that's
Got
right.
it. And what about a brand or a business which has actually reached 1, which means that most of the base work is done, we understand who's the right customer.
Yes.
What all do you get into as far as the brand is concerned, with respect to creating one, with respect to spending money on making sure that the right ROI can be justified against that?
Yes. So at that point of time, we create an entire brand identity, which includes having a final logo, having a final tagline, visuals, messaging, cohorts that the brand will target, the price points at which it will target. Is it a premium category? Is it a mass market category? All of that. We'll start moving into channel mix as well.
Okay.
We will see which channel appeals to this sort of audience the most. Is it offline? Is it omni-channel? Is it Amazon? Is it e-commerce? Is it quick commerce? Is it UGC content, which is very, very famous in tier 2, tier 3 cities?
Yeah.
What sort of channel mix is highly relevant for that sort of audience? Then we start moving towards that. The discussions and strategies are created towards that path then.
Okay, great. You've spent a good 15 years dealing with customers for the brands.
Yeah.
And I'm sure during this journey you have helped multiple businesses, multiple brands, have dealt with multiple founders. What would be the three key takeaways that you would want to share with our listeners about the way a D2C business is to be built, specifically with respect to the growth strategy and the scale perspective. What is it that a founder need to keep in mind, according to you, from the angle of a growth strategist, that becomes the most important as far as building a D2C brand is concerned?
Right. So a lot of factors. Let me think of top three. Yeah. So as I said, founders usually get a kick in over optimizing for tech and people. Uh, as long as you are very deeply entrenched into user research, rather than spending a lot of time in people in tech when the business is starting, you should spend disproportionately higher amount of time on the user research. What is the user? What are the common pain points of that user? How are they solving it at this point of time? What are the price points at which they are solving it? And do they even care about that problem or not? So these are 4 or 5 things that you need to absolutely nail to create your product. And this user research is something that I think is one of the topmost factors that a founder should always keep on their mind. Once the user research is nailed, the second is the product itself. So when I think of the product, a good framework comes to my mind, which was I heard it somewhere from Kunal Shah. He talked on it on some podcast, and I was listening to it. This framework is called Delta 4 framework, where he says that if your product is at least 4 notches better than your current solution, then the kind of referrals, the kind of word of mouth, the kind of organic reach that you'll create from your product will be unparalleled, and you'll have to spend very less on the marketing side of it.
Right.
Even if your product is a bit buggy, has some issues with it, the customers will look to ignore it. Because it is 4 notches better than your current experience. So just take an example of how we used to catch autos and cabs on the road 12 years back, and what was the experience after Uber and Ola came in. So that was a multi-fold improvement in the user experience, and hence those things stayed with the user till today. Now we know that there are hundreds of issues with such cab hailing apps. Then also we are totally hooked to it. We can't reverse it now. So that's the kind of product that we want. For a founder, just write what are those 4 new things that your product will solve above the current experience that the user is having.
Got it.
So that's 2, which is the product itself. So the third thing that I can think about in today's day and age is the omni-channel approach to your business. There was a funny incident. Year 2012-13, when some of my friends, colleagues used to talk to investors. If you had an offline business, investors said that we won't be funding you. Today's day and age, if you talk to investors and you tell them that you don't have an offline business, they say we won't fund you.
Because you go to the market to go offline, they say that.
Absolutely. So offline has become omni-channel, so to say, has become so relevant in today's day and age, because that gives you that tangible trust that the online platforms don't give you. They give you top-notch brand recall at a hyper-local level. So that's what Jiva did. A prime example that comes to my mind is Jiva. Started e-commerce, silver jewelry. Quickly saw the product market fit coming in, solved it through a breathtaking product that they have, beautiful designs, at the pricing at which the users wanted it. Then slowly and steadily started making retail stores all over India. I think today they are at 200-250 stores, and the brand has become ubiquitous with silver jewelry brands. A lot of smaller competitors have come in, but Jiva is Jiva. Another example, Lenskart. Started online, quickly moved offline, and that's how the omni-channel growth gave them the success.
And it is not necessary that you're going on omni-channel or offline from online. It's primarily to be able to sell more. At times, the offline store becomes an experience center for you.
Absolutely.
As in the case of Lenskart and ways, right? So it at times becomes the important thing to do. When you're looking at a wider market, because specifically this works wherein business is trying to do something new, or you are seeing that happening across the board as far as the omni-channel thing is concerned, because ads order we are working with the multiple businesses, and
Yeah.
I can see this as a trend. I can
Yes,
clearly
that's
see
right.
this as a trend that somebody in businesses like Spices, for that matter, built something online. Zoff was there with us
Yes.
in our last podcast,
Yeah.
and at some point in time said that, you know, this is good, but I need to be there in the general trade as well.
Absolutely.
So the trend is very clear. But do you see this working more for a specific type of business, or is it something which is the thing to follow any which ways, whosoever is trying to reach out to a
Yeah.
customer?
So as you said, this is not the only channel for sales. It's about giving the tangible experience of your product, tangible experience of your service through that particular center. Customers also find out that this is a good way for giving out any customer complaints or grievances and get them sorted faster. If you see, I've seen Make My Trip also opening up some offline stores
Okay.
now. Make My Trip fully online for decades, and now started opening certain offline stores where you can do some high ticket purchases for vacations,
Got it.
etc., which gives you a very good touch and feel of the reps who are talking to you, the products they are showing you, the way they are convincing you. And for a company, these things add to the brand building exercise. So, three things for sure for founders:
The customer,
the user
product.
research, the product, and the omni-channel approach. These days, the investors will just lap up these companies. Yeah.
Great. Saurabh, so we have seen multiple changes in this domain already, from building a brand just because you have a reach to reaching a stage wherein the reach is something which can happen probably overnight at times.
Yeah.
From e-commerce or Flipkarts and Amazons of the world becoming the enabler for a lot of businesses, to a quick commerce which have been able to scale them up significantly. From a market which was primarily foreign products driven, an imported product was thought to be a great one,
Right.
to a stage wherein an HUL ends up buying a local homegrown brand. How do you see the future of D2C, growing in terms of how technology and other things that are moving around us, how people
Yes.
are consuming both data as well as products? How do you see, the D2C as an area to grow from here onwards?
That's right. So whenever we analyze any D2C brand, we do it from the future of next 5 years perspective. We don't look at it just for today, we look at it 5 years hence. The biggest shift and the biggest move where a D2C brand will differentiate itself from others would be its presence on Q-commerce website. It's very funny that 10-12 years ago, we used to have a monthly planning of groceries, which then became a 3 to 4 day kind of a delivery cycle once Amazon came in.
Yeah.
Now it's Amazon came up with a 1 day delivery. Now it's Q-commerce with a 10-15 minute delivery. I think, and we have adapted to all of those things. While nothing was required, it wasn't a customer need, but we have adopted it to a way that it's very difficult to reverse it now.
Exactly.
So quick commerce gives you a lot of discoverability and visibility with the plethora of high frequently transacting users. You become a brand which is in the moment of their need, which is part of their impulse buying journey, and hence you become big with those end customers, and your business becomes very big with those end customers. The today also the thing which hasn't been cracked is that Qcom is a very low margin play for the clients, for the startups who are investing heavily into Q-commerce. The kind of SKUs that you can sell maybe on a general trade, a modern trade, maybe on Amazon as well, has to be very different from the ones that you sell on quick commerce. Because you need to bundle a lot, because your ticket size has to be bigger for you to make any margins in that particular business.
Exactly.
So if you can do that at scale, do that at an SKU level which propels your journey forward, Q-commerce is the way to go. So that's one. Second is the advent of AI, which is improving the kind of content that you create. It could be creative, it could be a video, it could be a reel, it could be a podcast. The speed at which you can reach out to the new user with new content is immense today. AI can help you do a very strong demand forecasting, which will make sure that there's no overstock in your warehouse, which will make sure that you aren't depleted on your inventory, which deteriorates the customer experience. It makes sure that new ideas like AR, VR, especially in fashion, we have seen that you can try those clothes
Yes.
right from the app there. So AI is the one where you have to adopt it. There's no way without it. So
Right.
second is the AI front. The third we have already discussed. I think omni-channel has to be the way forward.
Got you.
We gave the example of Jiva, we gave the example of Lenskart, and that has to be the way forward. That's the third. And the fourth is the hyper local growth journey. Here we have seen, Arun, we have worked with a FMCG brand based out of Lucknow, very, very hyper local player. There's a lot of market which needs to be sold at that point of time. It's totally not saturated for now, even with a hyper local presence that this player has, and it competes with 10 different players in the market.
Right.
Once you understand the local messaging, local dialect, local pricing, how you reach out in their community and keep building from there. So any brand which has a vision to expand at a pan India level has to have a hyper local playbook for it to expand at a pan India level.
Okay.
Investors absolutely love this kind of growth, that you are very strong in a micro market, now you are expanding from there. So these top four themes, I think, would be the future of D2C going forward. Every day we are seeing new advents in technology, agentic AI, super intelligence, etc. No one can predict all of that, but as we see it today, these four things I think are at the top of my mind.
But any which ways, with more and more technology solving our daily, hustle, you would have more time to be a bigger consumer. Right?
Yes,
So, which effectively means that the opportunity that a consumer brand gets is higher because the user has got more time probably.
user has got more time, Arun. I agree with that, but I think AI is deflationary. It will always reduce the costs of your implementation, of your execution, and hence your product. It is deflationary in nature, and side by side, people will have more time to consume. So wherever it will play, it will be very interesting too.
Great. It was very nice catching up, Saurabh. We discussed multiple areas, but it seems like the focus is all about customer data and making sure that you know both of them pretty well.
Yeah.
Before we close, any closing remarks that you would want to share with our users and listeners?
Thanks a lot, Arun, for having me here. I hope the listeners find some value from the podcast and they can deploy some of the strategies in their actual businesses to make good returns.
Thanks a lot for being with us. Please do share your feedback and do let us know if you could be of any help to you. Thank you.